Mickey Dickey here. One of the things that I've been trying to focus on and show you guys is the inconsistencies in the market and the way it's being reported. This tagline is one of them I wanted to focus on because Warren Buffett came out last week and had some really great interviews with Becky here. And when you read the line, this is Warren Buffett on banking crisis fallout. We're not through bank failures. Now, what I want to make sure we understand on this, we'll play the video here in a second, and I want you to listen to the question that's asked and how it's answered by Warren Buffett. And to me, how he answers it is even better than what he says when he answers it. So let's listen to what she's got here.
The banking crisis at this point, are
through
we
with
not?
bank failures, but we are through the depositor. The depositors haven't had a crisis. The owners of banks may have lost a hell of a lot of money. The people who bought the debt of the holding company, they may lose a lot of money. They can lose a lot of money, but the depositors aren't. And so you don't need to turn a dumb decision by managers into a panicking the whole citizenry of the United States about something they don't need to be panicked about.
Okay. So the first thing I want to say here is that they're saying we're not through the bank failures. Now, again, what he's trying to say is that banks fail every year. Companies fail every year. That doesn't mean we have a crisis on our hands. And as he said, we didn't even have a depositor crisis on our hands. We had a single bank or two or a couple that were run either improperly or got over their skis. They happen to be banks that had a lot of large depositors. And I know if they pull the money out, that becomes an issue, but I don't know how you beat them up or get upset with a company that's doing that when that's how they've made their livelihood. But regardless, what he's saying is that there isn't a crisis here, and why are we making one? Which, again, we do because the television makes it one. Now, there's another video here I wanted to bring up because I think he does a very good job of explaining what no one explains on television, and that is how FDIC is actually handled. Now, I've talked to several people who were actually in the banking business for a number of years who think the FDIC is actually us. And if we have to, as a nation, bail out banks, that it becomes a taxpayer burden. And I want you to listen to what Warren Buffett here says about that.
Until about Wednesday or Thursday of the week when the Silicon Valley or nothing, all of a sudden everybody was worried about it all over the country. And the interesting thing, of course, is that it will not cost the government a penny. People think that somehow the government's going to get hung up with us. The FDIC is in effect, a very peculiar mutual insurance operation that is run by the government, but it's financed by the banks. And FDIC had $120 billion or so at the start of the year. And that's all the money that banks have paid in, less what the FDIC has had to pay out on losses. If the FDIC has to pay out $250 billion this time or $300 billion, they just assess the banks more. And they don't do it in a very business-like manner.
And again, I don't know who you trust more in this issue than Warren Buffett, but he to me is the end-all be-all as far as the banking system. I mean, heck, he's been around long enough. He helped put some of this stuff together. And what he's saying is that the money that's in the FDIC is from the banking system. So if the FDIC has to spend $50 billion, they just assess the banks for it. It's not a taxpayer liability. And again, you don't hear this on the news. You hear this, they have it in this thing, but that should be the tagline here. Now, they finally actually have one. And again, this is the same interview from CNBC. This is no one is going to lose money on deposits in the United States. That should have been all over the news. Everyone should have been covering this. This is what should be posted all out there. Not that the banking crisis is a big deal. Again, it isn't a crisis. There wasn't one. We had a couple of banks. Again, they happen every year. We don't hear about them because maybe they weren't as big, but it's not the narrative that's out there. But again, he's trying to explain it to us the way that no one else is explaining. And it's really very simple. We, the taxpayer, are not on the hook for this. There is not a financial crisis. Look at the two videos. Does he look worried in any way, shape, or form about what's going on in the banking business? Not at all. Again, just trying to clear some stuff up here and get it right from the horse's mouth, or Warren Buffett's mouth, so to speak. So if we can't trust Warren Buffett and what he's saying, I don't know what we can trust. So anyway, if you have questions, contact your financial advisor. Dickey out.